welcome to the stage the one and only Andy Grammer.
What's going on? Thank you for coming.
Now, you're in tour mode, right?
I just got off tour.
Yeah. So are you still on that high? Because you're always an energetic dude.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But coming off a tour, are you still feeling that same kind of vibe?
I just crashed, actually. But it's been great. The last tour was incredible. I'm in like dad mode. You're catching me at dad mode right now. We got Halloween tomorrow. We're like getting ready to roll here. Yeah.
Let's start with something personal. Then, what's a Halloween like at the Grammer house with the family?
It's really fun. I think we're doing Dalmatians. My wife is Cruella DeVille. My youngest daughter is a poodle, which doesn't really fit, but that's what she wanted. And my oldest daughter is going to be a Dalmatian. And I think they're deciding whether to let me be a dog catcher or like one of those blow up Dalmatians that's like huge.
Oh wow, very cool.
I have no say.
But you crashed. But this tour, I could see where you'd want to crash. It was a very emotional tour from all appearances. And for a lot of reasons. One, because these new songs are very emotional in lots of ways, like a lot of your music. But this album and this tour dealt it with all kinds of things. And it was a different kind of setup. And you can get up there and just play your songs and do your thing, and the crowd would love it. I would love it. Everyone would dig it. But you got theatrical with it. You got emotional with it. Put into words, if this is going to continue for one, on the next leg of this, or if that's done, where that idea came from.
I just really didn't want to do a one-man show that was just me and my guitar. I felt like that was going to be a missed opportunity. It's not for everybody, but for me, it felt that way. I've done some spoken word poetry at my tours before, and so I knew I wanted to incorporate some of that. And then I think that people come to see me. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I would say that my fan, like when I think of when I'm in my studio writing a song, a lot of times I'm writing for myself, but then these days now, because I've toured so much, I'm thinking about it like a specific type of person. And that type of person is usually overly optimistic, overly sincere, and has been through like some terrible shit. And there's not a ton of spaces that are specifically for that type of person. And so I wanted to make a one-man show where we could feel a little bit more deeply. You know, before I go on stage, me and my band will sit in a circle, and someone will get in a chair, and everyone will go around and just say what they love about that person. And it's like the band right now is all dudes. There's different versions of it, but it happens so fast where like you go, just say what you love about the drummer. And everybody goes like, okay, well, I think I'm going to cry right now, actually. Oh, my God. And there's all this emotion that we don't have enough spaces to just share it. And we would do that backstage, and then we'd go out and have this big ruckus party, which is great too. And the next tour will probably be more like that, to be honest. But the one-man show is an opportunity to go like, whoa, could I take that energy of intimacy and bring it out to the crowd? And it was really fun. And it's super intense and sweet and amazing. Yeah. And about 5%, I'd say, each night of the crowd, because I can see you all while I'm playing. In general, everybody was like, whoa, this is incredible. And then about 5% each night was like, what are you doing? I did not sign up for this. This is like a lot. Yeah.
Wow. But I think the reason people love what you do is like you as an artist and your fans aren't afraid to be emotional and aren't afraid to kind of go there and deal with that, be it real highs or some lows. And that's where did that come from in you, that ability to put that all out there and not be inhibited when it comes to emotion?
Yeah, I think it probably from the passing of my mother. You know, in the one-man show, one of the things I talk about is this Brene Brown quote. She says, connection cannot happen until we allow ourselves to be seen. So, like, until you are actually seen, then connection isn't really possible. And the thing about going through some sort of tragedy or loss or grief is you, at least right after it happens, you have no say. You just are seen. You can't fake it. You can't fight it. You're just destroyed. And for me personally, that was really important 2 years to really feel sadness, because I'm a pretty happy guy and I hadn't really felt that before. And so I think that was really, it's weird to say beneficial, but it was really helpful for me to see another side of life before, like, I'm thinking like if you were going to make a me and you're going to have someone like me go sing happy songs to a lot of people, I could be really annoying. if you don't hit me with deep grief first. And if you do hit me with deep grief first, then I'm like, oh, I know why I'm here. And if you don't, then it's just like, what? I remember in high school, I'd be like, see people that were sad and be like, what are you doing? Why don't you like cheer up, bud? Like I couldn't understand why people would be unhappy. And so that was really important for me. Yeah.
But that's why there's such a great role for music and what you do, because everyone's got something going on, right? So I don't think you're ever truly annoying to anybody, because everyone could feel something from what you've put out from your discography over the years, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. When you look out at a crowd during a show like that, and you see people actually crying, or they're connecting with something they didn't think they were going to connect to, what's that like for you as an artist, and how does that affect you on stage?
It's a lot more like it's like you're creating a space. It's not like, oh my gosh, they like me so much. It's like, I love, this might be weird, but I love like public parks. Mm-hmm. Someone took the action, whether it's the government or somebody, to make a park. And then once you make it, the people are like, oh, sick, there's a slide. I'm going to go down the slide. And the person who made it isn't like there being like, that was me. That's what it feels like.
Right.
When you put on a show, there's so many other things that are happening. That there's lighting people. There's like people that have helped you set the whole thing up. You've just created a space. Sometimes it feels like you're like, I'm terrible with Marvel. I don't know anything about Marvel. Who's the guy that like makes the circle of whatever? Doctor Strange. It feels like that. Sometimes when it's really like an amazing night, it feels like you've like done whatever he does. And there's like a portal where awesome stuff gets to come to everybody. Yeah.
But you mentioned in creating these songs and creating songs in general, the audience you're thinking of and a certain type of personality that would do that. So is that always, because they're also personal songs. A lot of what you do is personal. So talk about that kind of balance between the personal and the universal, and how much of that is in your thought process every time.
Yeah, it's similar to even just like craft. Like there's the craft of songwriting, which a lot of times for pop songwriting is how can you get the most feeling into the least amount of syllables. So you think of like someone that like yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Everybody knows exactly what's happening. You've said very simple words, and now we're all in. So you want to do that, but it also has to be true to you. So you're kind of aware of both, of like the craft and of what your personal story is at the same time. And then there's moments where you're not inspired and you lean more on craft, and there's moments you're really inspired, you lean on your story. And similar to that with like thinking about other people and how they experience, or if I'm too personal or say the exact word of where I was, sometimes that won't be sung as like, that won't come out of the mouth as easy as if I just change it a little bit. So you're like loosely playing with things, but like a little thread that you're pulling the whole time. Yeah.
No, it's so great. When did you learn that? When did that come to you naturally as a songwriter, or is that something you kind of developed and realized over the years?
Well, I grew up in a house with parents that were writing songs all the time, but I really started to feel it when I street performed for 4 years in Santa Monica. And you know, art can be like, they're in your head. You're like, can you really tell what good or bad is? You know? But when you're on the street performing for 12 hours and most of what you do, everybody hates, and then you play one thing and everybody likes it, and then they like the same one tomorrow and the same one the next day. Like, oh yeah, there's good things and there's bad things.
Yeah.
And a group of strangers will very clearly let you know what is good and what is bad.
But knowing you probably brought the same energy to when there was one person.
I sold the hell out of the bad stuff so hard, almost to the point where people be like, "You seem like you think it's good."
That's great. That's great. Now, I'm sure you've told the story before, but not everyone can do that and learn all that and still become a success.
Totally.
So what is it about that next step for you? How did it click for you, if you were to put that into words? Where'd that drive come from, maybe, that's different from the next guy?
I don't know. I'm very competitive. And yeah, that's really interesting because there's like so many talented people. And sometimes it's not the most talented. It's just the person that can just like keep getting back up. When like I was out there for 4 years, which is so long. Like if you went out there for a weekend and just saw that the majority of the time you're out there, everyone's just ignoring you. You are literally just being ignored, and you're still showing up and like smiling and playing your songs. and no one cares. And then every once in a while, probably, every like 3 hours, it wasn't scientific or anything, but then like I used to say, like, I remember like a traveling Japanese volleyball team like somehow comes by and one of them goes like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then like all 20 of them now are around you and you're like a rock star. You're like a bona fide rock star for about 3 minutes. They all buy my crappy CD because they thought that the Snow Patrol song I was covering was on it. And then they leave. And then you're just kind of like waiting again for the next one. Mm-hmm. And that honestly is very similar to the music business infinite. Like you just keep going and you keep putting out things. And we all try to think that we can control why something goes or why it doesn't. That's why we have the music business. But no one knows why. Right. We all just keep going until another volleyball team shows up. Very nice. And that is the music industry, ladies and gentlemen.
So you put out a series of great records, respected records that have done very well. And then the pandemic hits and everyone's going through stuff and it's a horrible time. Talk about you during that time and how that period led to a break and then led to slowly to this next record, Monster.
Yeah, the pandemic was my nightmare. I don't know how you guys did. I was a freaking wreck. My wife is here. She knows. I don't like to be alone. I'm getting better at it. On this last tour, I was like really meditating and figuring out how to be by myself. But in general, I like to be around a lot of people. That's why I've set up my life to literally sleep on a bus with my 12 best friends, like above and below me all the way, and then spend my nights with like thousands of people. So the pandemic was like a hard stop on all of that. And that's what got me into therapy, which was really important. Everybody go to therapy. It's good for you. And yeah, and through therapy, just like processing some of the relationships in my life that weren't healthy. And then from that to Monster. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Monster came out of that in what ways? I know you were tackling things in this album that maybe you haven't addressed before and fans wouldn't expect.
Yeah, maybe they wouldn't expect it, but I do think the same thing that I write songs thinking about the type of person that listens to my music. Mm-hmm. And I think that a very sincere person that brings light to lots of situations can often be taken advantage of. So there's like a line which is really hard because you want to come at it completely open and sincere, but then part of that lifestyle is that you're going to get screwed. Yeah. And that's not enough of a reason to not be that way. Mm-hmm. It just is a part of that game. And so I actually thought my people would really dig this record. Because I think that there's probably a lot of this that occurs in really sincere people's lives.
Yeah, and I love the line that about the monster waking up. Yeah, and you do that in a way where it's actually exciting the way you sing it, right? Yeah, like I'm waking up or he's waking up is the line, right? We're like, it's time.
It's time. It's man, life will get you. There's no way. There's no easy route. There's always so many different ways to look at stuff, and for some people, it's really hard to be kind, and so they need a record that talks about like how to do that, and I've done that. And then other people need to know how to like stand up for themselves, and then probably it's the same person at different points in their lives, mm-hmm. you know. Mm-hmm. And so for me, anger, I hadn't really understood how to sing about. I'd felt it, but didn't ever really try to show it to anyone, even in my own personal life. Like I don't know what good that does. But at some point, if you have been wronged, then to not be angry is very inauthentic. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to give up authenticity, so I had to write an angry record to keep it.
Yeah. And you say it's an angry record, but it's also a beautiful record and a big poppy record and with all kinds of musical styles, and it's so well done. And a song like Without You, which tackles some serious stuff, and you can talk about that, but it's also this soaring, beautiful melody, and you sound so great on that song.
Oh, thank you.
Just talk about that balance with having some themes that maybe you don't sing about every day.
Yeah.
Some tough stuff, but it's a gorgeous song.
Thank you. Yeah, just like in any relationship, a lot of them are like, the more like intimate that you get, whether it's like a actually intimate relationship or a personal relationship or friendship, there is a moment where you face the world like this, and you're looking out at the world, you and this person against the world. And And whenever that breaks, that's really hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that in a relationship in my life, and that was just like crazy. I mean, the line in that one that's my favorite is, what is it like? I didn't even know these words could come out of my mouth. You know, that's how it feels. You're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then let's talk about Magic. I'm sure most of you have heard the song Magic at this point. And that's just kind of like, to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people, it's like an instant classic. It's just a great,
thank you.
great big pop song that
Thank
sounds
you.
like something we should be listening to our whole lives
Yeah.
in a good way. Just talk about the formation of that song and how easy is it for you to write a song that good?
Oh. Well, and I don't like to do this often, but I did not know that was that good. And I got told by my label that like I should do that one. And I was like, yeah, I got some other stuff that's good. Don't worry about it. And they just kept pestering me to finish it as I was writing different songs for the record. And then finally, to like appease them, this is full disclosure, I like went back in to try to, because we'd made a demo of it. I went in, and then me and my good friend Adam Friedman, who produced a lot of this record, we did a reproduction of it, and it was like, as soon as we were doing it, I was like, oh, this is so good. Maybe they know what they're talking about. It's also really sweet because it's the last song that I wrote with a guy named Bram Inscore, who was the producer on Don't Give Up on Me.
Very nice.
And he's passed since then. So I am a firm believer that he's sprinkling magic juju everywhere to make sure that gets everywhere in the world. Yeah.
No, it's so great. And then, I don't know if any of you have seen this yet on YouTube or whatever, but you went back to PS22.
Oh, yeah.
And you performed these kids with
Oh, my
you,
God,
which
they're
you've done
the
before.
best.
And it's so much fun to watch, and it's so sweet. I know you enjoyed that probably more than anybody
Every
there.
time I go, it's this choir director who like whips those kids into shape. And then you try to sing the song, and the camera's right here on your face, and they're behind you. And it usually takes about 4 times, because as soon as they start singing, you just start crying. It's so pretty. And you're trying to sing something sweet, and then you're just crying. It's great. It was really
Kids
great.
seem to really take to it.
Yeah, they're
quickly
unbelievable.
And enjoy it.
It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And now Magic's already the third. Is it the third single from this record? Do I have that right, or fourth?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you actually had the song "I Do"
Yeah.
that got a lot of attention. With
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and you were surrounded by some wonderful women on that song.
Oh, yeah, Maddie and Tay are
Yes.
great.
Yeah,
They're
just talk about that.
fantastic.
It's kind of a country feel, something a little different for you.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah, so talk about the impetus for that and that partnership.
To write this record, which I hadn't really done before, I just had a mandolin in my hand for every writing session, because that was like the way that I was getting to this good stuff. And it was a lot of these people that I've written songs with in Los Angeles have been writing with me forever. And so it was for each one of them, they had to get over the fact that I had a mandolin in my hand each time. Like, what is that? Get that out of here. But that was kind of the key to this record for me. It was just different enough sonically that it let me go places that I don't usually go.
Yeah, for sure. I know REM did that once with "Losing My Religion," and
Yeah.
it kind of became their biggest song.
Yeah.
And your stuff's different, but it's something switching it up like that.
Switching it up,
Switching
and
it
there's
different.
something about it that I'm not good enough at it to play very many chords. So what comes out is all these lead lines for the record, where I can't, like, I'm writing the song, and for some reason that instrument's so twangy and like I don't know, it's like it's got this high pitched thing that really led to a lot of, like, in the Monster song, it's like like that's what came out of me, or the like that's not something I would usually do.
Right.
But with that weird little instrument in my hand, then I could like capture it in my Logic and then bring it to friends and start producing it up. And yeah.
So cool. Does that change you forever, or are you done with that now and you're on to something
I
else?
don't know. I really like it. We'll see. We'll see.
Talk about also this wonderful partnership you have with your wife,
Yes.
Adrian. She's on the record. She's
on the
She sings
record.
you. She's a great partner in life and in music. So how much is her support, her musicality, her talent?
Yeah. I
what you
mean,
do?
we've been writing songs for a pretty long time. We met at music school. We recently have been writing a lot of songs together, and I'm sure at some point we'll put out a record together just of our songs. But 2 of them made it on this record. The Gray is one of my favorite lyrics ever, and then this song Unforgivable that's just a brutal gut punch.
Yeah.
I'd say right now, because the record came out fairly recently, and about once a day another one of my friends calls and says like, dude, I'm in the car. And and it, my wife was in the studio with me. That was like, I produced that song, and she was with me the whole time, and we wrote it together. And while I was singing my part to it, she just kept going like, less, sing less, back off, back off, back off. So she's like a really good vocal producer. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes
and she
like,
sings more and
punch
more.
me. Yeah.
What's it like performing with her?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
She's a super pro. I mean, she's performed. It's like so funny. She's next to me a lot of the time, and so people, it's like the most egregious thing in the world when someone would think that she is my wife, right? Like she sang backup for Selena Gomez, for like Rachel Pratt and Kobe Calais. She did Saturday Night Live. She had his whole life.
Sure.
And then you'll be in spaces and people are like, "Oh, are you his wife?" She's like, "Fuck off." Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. And there's a deluxe edition coming out.
Yeah.
This week, right?
This week.
And it has the gray.
Has gray on it.
Has gray on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the lyric when we were writing it together, the lyric of, oh, it's running fingers through my hair. I'm just a lyric geek. I'm like the biggest nerd for getting a line correct. And when we said, when I'm gray, can you tell me you'll be there, running fingers through my hair when it's gray, when it's setting up the gray coming again for the hook? Oh yeah. Like these are my favorite moments when you figure out how to get it just right. And I remember we wrote that together, and I was like, this is really good.
I was listening to that song, and it's dealing with aging or the prospect of aging, right? How did turning 40? It's okay that we say that, right? Yeah. How did that affect your mindset? Was that a milestone for you? Did that change you this year? Was that part of any of this?
It's interesting. I can't tell. I feel like the world is changing fast, and like I'm a huge AI guy. I don't know if you're into it.
Yeah.
I love writing songs with ChatGPT. I love messing with merch with it. I ask it. I'm on it 2 hours a day. I talk about it all day long. And so I can't tell whether the world is actually moving faster or whether that's what being 40 is. It might be a little bit of both.
Right.
But that would be my only question about getting older is like, it seems like the world's moving fast. I just read a really funny quote that was like, technology that comes out when you are born is just like what life is. And then if technology comes out when you're like 25 to 40, then you're like, ooh, this is like really cool. And then if it comes out 50 and up, you're like, this is against God. This is not okay. And I'm not there yet. Yeah. But I can feel it coming on. Yeah.
It's like my 21-year-old, my wife's here, my 21-year-old has an ear infection. She says, I'm on ChatGPT, figuring it out. I'm like, I don't know. But, that's life. So, yeah. Yeah. So how does that age and the family and this point, does that change you going forward, though? Because you mentioned what you just talked about in terms of, like, was there, like, a reckoning this year in terms of what's next? Do you feel like, is there going to be a more mature side to what you're doing? This album kind of showed some of that. Do you feel like a new direction coming?
I think that you care less, which I gotta believe helps with art. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I don't think earlier me would have done the one-man show that I just did, knowing that like 5% of the people wouldn't like it. That, oh my God, that would have, 26-year-old Andy would have been like, never. I don't want anyone to not leave like the most excited. And the idea that you would choose something deeper and riskier and lose 5% to make the other 95% go like, oh my God. That's like a new, that comes with age, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So much of your music has been, and it's been talked about before, but like therapy for people, and it's like therapy for you. And people use this as therapy because they're songs that lend themselves to that. But how cathartic is it for you after a night of performing those kind of songs in terms of just on a personal level? How much does it help you reliving those emotions on stage or reliving those songs that you poured your heart into?
Rarely do I feel like, I don't know, super personal, which is wild. Again, it's more like creating a public park.
Yeah.
And then just like deep gratitude when everybody's playing together or singing something amazing together. There was one thing, I don't know if anybody came to my one-man show, but we did what I did every night. Thank you. The one thing I couldn't get away from that would get personal every night is we picked a mom for the show every night because my mom never got to come to one of my shows. So I would ask every single night on this like 30-date tour, like, is there someone in the crowd that would be down to be my mom? And some sweet lady would raise her hand every time. And I'd be like, you got to give me a pep talk because I've never gotten one of those from my mom before a show. And I'd hand her the mic. And every night that was happening, I was like, oh. Every single night. So that was probably like the most personal I've gotten in a really long time. In general, though, it's just really great. I'm the happiest when we're going back to that Brene Brown quote. When we all feel seen, when you allow yourself to be seen, then it feels like incredible. So when I start "Don't Give Up on Me" and you're in a group of thousands of people, and you start it and you can see everybody start to cry, that's like such a powerful, beautiful, unifying moment. I'm not thinking like, oh my gosh, I remember when I wrote this. I'm just like witnessing the insanity and beautiful. You know, there's a really cool Baha'i quote that talks about music is an intensifier. So whatever you're feeling, if you get the right music aligned with it, it will just make you feel that like a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you can build up a lot of love into a room and then drop the right song on top of that, everybody's like, I feel crazy. Or if you're talking about sadness or grief and then you drop the right song on that, it's like, whoa, this is it's like I like to think of it like when done right, it's invisible. It's like a Harry Potter like thing that you're throwing at people. And then sometimes if you bottle it and it goes over the radio and people are just in their car and then they're like feeling things like happy or sadness or like it really is like expecto whatever.
And you probably hear those stories constantly from people after shows or when you're out and about what this song meant to them at this point in their life. So you're probably bombarded with that emotion in a good way and knowing how many people you've touched over the years and how many of these songs are used at special moments in their lives.
Yeah, and then going back to like it's invisible. So the craft of what Leonardo da Vinci says, it's like invisible architecture. Oh, shaping the invisible is what he said. That's what music is. And so, especially when you're getting started, you're like, am I even doing anything? I can't see it. And I made this song. Do you like it? And the answer is like, no. And somewhere in like the 400, 500 song mark, you've like shaped something invisible and then you give it to someone else and it explodes in them. It's like, what the hell is this? Is unbelievable, you know? And so that's been probably one of the most fulfilling pieces is like getting better at shaping invisible things to then help people. Like I would hope that people use my song like an Advil, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. I think everyone's stressed out by so many things, and given this next week and the election, and people are going to be listening to a lot of, and Halloween. There's a lot
I'll
of ways.
say that this is the first, like, what I'm going through, I write what's going on in my life, and then people use it for that situation. And so Monster was a different situation that I've been going through, and the comments and responses back are new.
Yeah.
Because I haven't, I haven't put out a record like this before. And I was a little bit stressed that it was going to be a little too something, whatever, insecure me. But then what came back is all these people that are like, I had this terrible relationship that it was time for me to get out of this one. Like, it's so, yeah, there's like an infiniteness to that like whatever I create or whatever anybody creates from a sincere, true place will hopefully reverberate with someone.
Yeah, for sure. Very nice. And then besides all those themes, though, we've touched on it before, the music on this is so great. And there's like a full-on gospel workout, it seems like, at least to my ears at some point, right? So just talk about the fun in experimenting with some stuff like that and how much, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the whole record, but those of you that haven't, every song's different, and you go to a lot of really fun places. That must be fun just as a musician.
It was really fun. Like I said, my guy, Adam Friedman, he's got this small little studio, and he was willing to work with my schedule. Like I said, I'm in dad mode. So a lot of my ideas come really annoyingly early in the morning. So I would text him, like the night before. Basically, we'd show up. A lot of times we'd get to the studio at 6 a.m. And I live in Los Feliz, and so I would drive over to Santa Monica. I usually start the day at like 4 and go on the really long run. And then
get to your busking spot.
What do you say? Oh, yeah. The Los Feliz, not Los Angeles. Oh, yeah, Santa Monica, his studio's in. And then we'd get there and just like go nuts and party and have a blast and laugh and then be done by like 12. Right. Something about the early morning really worked for me on this record.
Mm-hmm. Now that you're in dad mode and family mode and it's the holidays coming and all that, are you still creative every day? Is these songs, you get inspiration? Do things pop out or do you let yourself put it away for a few months?
I actually have to turn it off sometimes. Like, if I'm with my kids and an idea comes, I'm gone too much already. So even if it's like a great idea, I'm like, okay, I'm with them. Like, can you see? I'm busy. I will give you what you need later, but not right now. Yeah.
Do they get it?
The kids? They're picking it up. My 7-year-old, she's starting to get it. She's really, her name's Louisiana, and she loves dance, and she's starting to see, like, she'll hear my music out in the world, or I just played at the Rams game the other day, and she's like, you can see her kind of like taking it all in, and she seems to like it. Yeah.
Having such creative, talented parents.
Yeah.
They're gonna see this world. Obviously, they already have. Is that something you guys are gonna foster, encourage, or?
Sure. Yeah. Play, figure it out, do, like, have a blast. I think outside of making a career out of it, like just being creative with art and dance and music and poetry, and like that's like one of the best part of life. So like, yeah, do as much of that as possible. Yeah. I was sitting with her today, just loosely teaching her. Just like how to stay on one thing on the piano with your right hand and then move the bass notes, and it starts to feel like something's happening, and that was awesome.
Oh, how cool!
So cool.
Is there a favorite song that they sing along with you?
What do they like? They like the ones that I told them are about them. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You mentioned the Rams game. Talk about being in demand. I'm sure everybody wants you. It's a nice problem to have for events of all sorts and types. So. How does that feel? And then how do you choose what you're going to lend your talents to in terms of something that's important to you?
It is so wild because, like I said, I really remember being ignored for 12 hours a day and just racking my brain of how I was going to get enough people into the Roxy. Like, how do people do that? And then the idea of tour, like, I'm going to go to Boston and anyone's going to care that I'm coming to. That's insanity. It's really great to have started there and been there for so long. So it really sunk in. Yeah. To this point now, get to choose where to go and where to share your music and your light and stuff like that's wild.
How cool. How cool. Well, it's the fun part of the night. We get to open this up to some questions from you guys. So if anyone has thought of any or anyone has any, we can take some questions for Andy up here. I'm sure someone's got something. Yeah, we got lights. Yes, in the middle there. We don't have a mic, so if you can be nice and loud.
Stephen, how are you? Hey! You sing such powerful highs live.
Thank you.
Have you thought about how that's going to last when you have 50?
Honestly, I'm just making this all up as I go. One of my good friends, his name's Josh Tagney. He was my day-to-day manager since I was like 26, and now he's moved on to other things. And we laugh because when I started, my voice, this is gonna make me sound like I'm fishing for compliments. It like wasn't very good, and so that was almost a positive because I remember being a street performer, being like, well, the songs better be good because my voice is not gonna do this. So like I remember being very insecure about my voice and making sure that I really learned how to songwrite because I remember someone said that like Bob Dylan's voice wasn't very good, but everybody still liked him. And so I spent a lot of time on that, and now it's been like 20 years that I've been singing, and if you do anything for 20 years, you can get good enough at it. So I hope it doesn't go too soon. Yeah.
It must feel like it gets even when it's great, it still gets better. You become a better songwriter and a better vocalist. All that keeps improving.
Yeah, and I just never put any when I was street performing, I never went to like a vocal lesson or anything like that. There's like a skill to it that you hopefully get better at, or you're an idiot if you don't.
Right, sure. Right here in front.
Yeah.
What is your advice for artists who've been in the grind for a while and not to get?
Okay. I remember hearing. I'll give you a broad one, and then I want to ask you a deeper question. Okay. The broad one is, what's his name? Gonna blow it. Don't remember his name. But he said, The reason you get into art is because you have good taste. So you get into songwriting, you're like, you start doing it because you know what a good song is. And then, unfortunately, when you start, you're bad, and you actually know more than anybody else because you have really good taste. So your taste is high and your output is low, and the only way to get your output to be anywhere near your taste is to do it like so many times. And I think the average person doesn't really get how many times. You know, I did a songwriting session with a guy who had 100 number ones in country. And I was like, what do you know that I don't know? And he's like, oh, I've written like 2,000 songs. He's like, 1 out of every 100 is usually like real good. And so I think people underestimate how many times it takes to get your output to be your taste. And then we get kind of bummed out by ourselves that we've written 20 songs and none of them are great yet. So I'd say that for context. And then what do you do? What are you doing? Oh, great. Super cool. I would say it's really important, and maybe harder for actors, I don't know. I have this argument with actors a lot. Part of what you do has to be about creating your own shot. Has to be. It's impossible to live in a town like Los Angeles and be waiting on someone else to do something for you. Like, you just can't. And the argument that comes back to me from my closest actor friend, is that like it's easy for you to say that because you can just go to the street and perform. And I go like, that was so hard, first of all. That was a nightmare. And I did it for 12 hours a day. And so you're telling me you can't create a short little like episode on YouTube? Like, create your own shot. Take your own power back and don't wait for anybody. Memorable moment. Oh, let's see. Okay, I have one. It's my most memorable. You guys don't remember it. I have a song called Naive. And when that record came out, I sang it in Times Square on like the Today Show or something. And it's kind of like a sweet, rebellious song. And there was something about that felt like very memorable to me. Yeah. Always starts with the lyric usually. So like Billy Joel, Paul Simon, Lauryn Hill rocked me in high school. If anybody hasn't heard the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Integrity sounded so good. And it wasn't at all a gimme. It was just like, this is awesome. And then early John Mayer rocked me. Still does, all John Mayer. But I remember I was like mostly into a jock and very into basketball all day long, every day. And we were heading to basketball practice on like a Saturday morning, and Room for Squares came on. And I remember being like, I am no longer the same. What the hell is that? And then I went and learned every song that taught me the guitar. Yeah.
What's it like when people have told you the same thing about your music?
It's so sweet. It's a lot more like you are passing it to them rather than like, man, no. Thanks. I did it.
A little bit of that sometimes. Yeah. Ever?
Never.
Right there.
Well, you get screwed. That's step one. And then you try to set up maybe some systems or barriers or people around you Um, I it's one of the lyrics in one of the songs on this record is like, I don't like locking my door. Cuz that feels like an act of like, I don't trust everybody. But you got to lock your door, idiot, you know? So like my wife is here, she's like, he's so stupid. I can't with this guy. So yeah, you find your balance in life and figure out for your own personal self what are the barriers you can live within that keep your sincerity alive without always leaving your door unlocked completely. Yeah, let's see. What are the areas? I mean, I've had to get better at like I would never want to, like if it was asked, I'm like I would just give myself away. So like if there's like the other night all the power went out and I could see everybody's face that came and paid for this. And I was like, well, I'm going to take a picture with everybody here. My tour manager's like, yeah. So you like figure out I've had to get better at being like, oh, I can't do that always, and setting up situations and understanding that I can give a certain amount of myself away, but then I'll just like get sick. So I've had to like, and that's been hard for me actually. Yeah.
And a song like "Save a Spot in the Back," which in a broad sense, celebrates goodness, right? And kind of along the lines of what you're saying. Just talk about that a little bit in terms of where that song came from and how that fits into everything you've been talking about.
Yeah, I think that it's just a lot less black and white. There's a way for you to be really sincere and still take care of yourself and lock your door when you need to. And what would be a tragedy is if a lot of sincere people just lock all their doors all the time. That's a tragedy. So we have to do the work to figure out like, how do you find the balance? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The same way that I would say that really thick-skinned people have to work hard to open up. Mm-hmm. We're all just trying to get to the center. Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. Yeah.
You write a lot of songs about relationships. You talk a lot about your wife. So what would you say is your number one piece of advice for relationships?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I want to give you like a real answer. Not like a bullshit one. When I think about my wife, I think like there are things that matter in this life and there are things that don't matter as much. And only you can know what those are for you. But I would say in all the areas that really matter, my wife is the shit. Find someone that you say that about.
Agreed. Right behind, yes?
Yeah. It's like over time. So the advice is what you have to bring is very specific. And so don't try to be like other people. But you need to learn the craft to learn what your own specific thing is. So 4 years of being ignored is like really important to sing all the covers and like sing every single cover of every One Republic song ever and every Maroon 5 song and every like, you know, Hey There Delilah, and like while you're doing that, you're not wasting time. We just want it so fast. We want it so fast, and we want to know what we have to offer like so fast. But the time that it takes is actually really crucial to go like, oh, I sound pretty good doing this, but that's not my thing. And I sound okay doing this. And over a long period of time, then you go like, what's missing here? Or what do I actually have to offer? And there's a part of my one-man show where I talk about like, in the beginning, I'm like, am I supposed to be like sexy? That's not what there's so many other people that can offer that. We don't need you to do that. The world actually would really like it if you wrote a song like "Don't Give Up on Me." Like, we need that from you, you know? And there's no way to rush that or get to that fast. The advice I would give to myself is like, you're probably going to turn over like 2,000 stones. So take your time and enjoy the ride. Yeah.
You know, we're out of time, but there's one gentleman who's had his hand up for a long time, right? We can get to one last question right there. Yes.
Cool, let's cry. So I have to surround myself with people that are less optimistic than me, or else I'll die. And my mom was like that. So I think she would like blind spots. You got me.
Well, it's that raw honesty and emotion is why everyone loves you, Andy Grammer. What a great conversation. It's so pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, my man. What a great thing.